This is from Preptest 59, section number 1, and this would be the third game. It's about Alicia has taken 4 courses, exactly 4 courses. There are 7 courses available, although one of them is offered twice, so it's kind of 8 courses. They tell you she's going to be choosing exactly 4 of those 7 or 4 of those 8, however you decide it. Notice that all the rules here are formal logic. So you do need to do contrapositive. So she must take Japanese if she does not take Russian. If no Russian, then Japanese. The contrapositive. If no Japanese, then Russian. If she takes macroeconomics, no Japanese. If there's Japanese, no macroeconomics. If there's statistics at 9, no world history. If world history, no statistics at 9. If she takes psychology, she has to take statistics at 9. No statistics at 9, no psychology. And she takes geography or world history, but not both. And those words, not both, should always jump out at you on the LSAT. That is the test makers trying to tell you there are going to be some fun deductions. Even though this is a game of selection, and most games of selection are predicated upon formal logic, and when games are predicated upon formal logic, they do not normally have deductions, that inclusion of that concrete rule, Rule 5, the not both rule, is telling you something weird is going to happen. Something cool is always going to happen when there's a not both. And Rule 5 is suggesting the possibility of limited options, that you could make 2 sketches to start this game before you even go into the questions. And I definitely would suggest that we go in and we make a G, J, M, P, R, S9, S3, W, and a second roster, G, J, M, P, R, S9, S3, W. In one of them we choose the G, and one of them we choose the W. Let's start with the top one. When we choose a G, well, we know it's G or W, but not both. That means there's no W. Do we have any rules that say what happens when there's no W? Take a look through your rules. You have no rules about not having a W. You do have a rule in which not having a W is a result, but that's not the cause. We never want to look at the necessary side of the condition, only the sufficient side. The sufficient side tells you everything. So you're at a logical dead end. Nothing happens when you choose a G. Nothing happens when you don't choose a W. We have no idea which 3 of these remaining 5 or 6 classes she's going to take. Alright, so we go down to the next one. If there's a W, there's no G. Well, does anything happen when there's no G? Again, take a look up and down your sufficient side. Remember, this is the sufficient side. Nothing happens when there's no G. But does anything happen when there's W? Yeah, when there's a W, there's no statistics at 9. Knock out statistics at 9. What happens when there's no statistics at 9? Right here, Rule 4, no statistics at 9. The contrapositive, no psychology. Knock it out. What happens when there's no psychology? Take a look up and down. You don't have any rules about it. But notice at this point, we only have 1, 2, 3, 4 remaining, and we need to choose exactly 4 of these. And we know that we can't, on the basis of Rule 2, choose M and J together if M no J, if J no M, which means if we're going to get it up to 4, then we have to choose statistics at 3, we have to choose Russian, and then either one of J or M. This is not uncommon in limited options games where one sketch is like 75% solved and the other sketch is kind of empty. But even, the sketch that's kind of empty is still 25% done. The other sketch is 75% done. It's either this or start with nothing, and I think you'll see the benefit. So you take a look at the first question on this one, which following could be the list of 4 courses Alicia takes. And this is an acceptability question. We use the rules on acceptability questions. We go through, if there's no Russian, we need Japanese. You look for answer choices that don't have Russian. A has Russian. B does not have Russian listed, and therefore it would have to have Japanese, but it doesn't, and so B is gone. C mentions Russian, D mentions Russian, E mentions Russian. We were looking for answer choices, remember, that didn't mention Russian, only B is eliminated. Rule 2 tells us we can't have M and J together. A doesn't have M and J together. B we've already eliminated. C does have M and J together. C is gone. D and E check out just fine. We keep going. The problem with Rule 3 is that it says if she takes statistics at 9, then she doesn't take world history. If you take a look at your remaining answer choices, even though some of them mention statistics, they don't tell you which statistics. Is it statistics at 3 or is it statistics at 9? You can't use Rule 3. But Rule 4 you can use, because Rule 4 says if she takes psychology, she has to take statistics at 9. So if there's a psychology, there has to be a statistics. Answer choice A has a psychology. It has no statistics, whether it be statistics at 3 or at 9. A has to be gone. We take a look at the others. D has psychology and a statistics. That's fine because we don't know which one it is. E has a psychology and a statistics. That's fine too. And then Rule 5, there has to be a G or W, but not both. And E does not have any of those. And rule by rule by rule, you end up on answer choice D, and it has to work every single time. Let me just get rid of that. Always go through one rule at a time. The answer turned out to be D. Had you checked all 5 rules against A and all 5 rules against B, and all 5, by the time you get to D, you would have checked those rules 20 times. That is not efficient. Keep on going to the next question. Well, which of the following could be an accurate list of 3 courses Alicia takes? So on this one, it's what's called a partial acceptability. And you just want to run through and use your rules. And problematically, a lot of these rules aren't going to apply, because our first rule says if there's no Russian, she has to take Japanese, but since they're only showing us 3 of the 4 courses, we don't know that Russian is missing. And Rule 2 says if there's macroeconomics there, it can't be Japanese. Well, at the very least, that eliminates answer choice B. You switch to the red. B, you are gone. But none of the others have M and J together. We keep going. If there's statistics at 9, there cannot be world history, but the problem here is they don't tell you which statistics it is. Rule 4, if there's psychology, there has to be statistics at 9, but since they're only showing us 3 of the 4, we don't know if it's there or not. And then finally, there's a G or a W, but they can't be both, and at the very least, that eliminates answer choice A, which leaves you with C, D, and E. Now, the wonderful thing about C, D, and E is they all mention world history, and you already have a great sketch, a great deduction that you started the game with about what happens when there's world history. When there's world history, there is definitely no psychology, and answer choices D, C, and D both mention psychology. They're both gone. The answer has to be E. We move on to the next one. Which courses Lisa takes is fully determined if she takes Russian, and which one of the following? Well, A says if she takes Russian and world history, would we know her complete schedule? But notice we already have a sketch up here in which she's taking Russian and world history, and we don't know if it's J or M is the 4th class, which means answer choice A doesn't work. And if she takes Russian and statistics, well, again, we have a sketch where she takes Russian and statistics at 3, and we don't know the whole sketch because we don't know whether it's J or M, so it can't be B. Russian and psychology, well, we don't have a sketch in which she takes Russian and psychology. So that's a possible answer. But we take a look at D and E are about Japanese and macroeconomics. And Japanese and macroeconomics are basically the same course according to kind of our second deduction there. C appears to be the very probable answer. Now, if you want to check it, you check it by making the C, GAMPR, S9, S3, W. And remember, we're going to be in that top option because it's saying if she takes Russian and psychology. In the second sketch, she already can't take psychology. So we have her take Russian and psychology. What happens when she takes psychology? According to Rule 4, if she takes statistics at 9, all 4 courses are chosen, and we have our answer. We take a look at 59. Alicia could take statistics at either of the available times if she takes which of the following pairs of courses. Well, we know, again, based upon this second sketch that I'm scribbling by right now, this one I'm drawing an arrow next to, we know on the basis of that she can't take statistics at either time because statistics at 9 is already eliminated when she takes world history. So that eliminates both C and E. They're gone. Take a look at your remaining answer choices, A, B, and D. 2 of them mention psychology. If she takes psychology, she takes statistics at 9. That would limit when she takes statistics. The correct answer for that one has to be A. On we go. Second to last question. If Alicia takes statistics at 3 and geography, then which of the following must she also take? So, let's clear up some space because I have been making a giant mess here. Remember, on test day, you're going to have tons of room, tons of room. So, if Alicia takes statistics at 3 and geography, so we make a new sketch. G, J, M, P, R, S9, S3, W, and here they're telling us she's taking statistics at 3. So this was going to be a statistics at 3. And geography. Well, if she takes geography, we know she doesn't take world history, and we know if she's taking statistics at 3, she's not taking statistics at 9. What happens when there's no statistics at 9? When there's no statistics at 9, Rule 4 says there's no psychology. What happens when there's no psychology? Take a look up and down your rules. Nothing happens when there's no psychology. But once again, we've chosen 2 courses. We've got 3 left. J and M can't be together, so if we're going to add up to 4, she has to take Russian with either one of J or M, and Russian answer choice D is right there. On to the very last question. And the very last question does something that is annoying, and the last question on any logic game is supposed to be the most difficult. But let's take a look. Suppose that Alicia must take statistics if she takes psychology. So it adds this new rule. This new rule, she must take statistics if she takes psychology. It gives you this new rule: no psychology, no statistics, no psychology. Here's the new rule 60 gives you. But then it says, but rather than be restricted to taking statistics 9, she can take it either 9 or at 3. That means Rule 4 has been suspended. Rule 4 is no longer germane to this question. And if Rule 4 is no longer germane to this question, then how useful are the deductions we made at the beginning? And the point of fact is, they're not useful anymore. It's giving us something brand new, and that means all of this up here is basically garbage. It's garbage time. So, if all of the restrictions remain the same, then which of the following could be the list of the 4 courses Alicia takes? You just want to run through them. This is still an acceptability question. It's just giving you a new rule. So take a look at the first one. If there's no Russian, there has to be Japanese. Well, let me make a list here. A, B, C, D, E. Answer choice A does not contain Russian, so it would have to, or does contain Russian, so it doesn't apply. Answer choice B doesn't contain Russian, so it would have to contain Japanese. It doesn't. B is gone. Answer choice C mentions Russian, D mentions Russian, E mentions Russian. We're on to the next one. We can't have M and J together. A does not have M and J together. C does not have M and J together. D does not have M and J together. E does not have M and J together. We keep going. If she takes statistics at 9, the problem is we don't know if it's statistics at 9 or some other time. So we go on to the next rule. It's G or W, but not both. Answer choices D and E have both G and W. They're gone. And finally, our new rule that we had here, if she takes psychology, she must take statistics. In answer choice A, she's taking psychology and statistics. In answer choice C, she's taking psychology. She is not taking statistics. A has to be the answer. Hope this helped. Any questions, please drop me a line.